Next reaction is oxymercuration and demercuration of alkenes. So what does it mean? It involves the reaction of alkene with mercuric acetate. So mercuric acetate is mercury and its acetate group COCH3. So basically it is CH3 C double bond O mercury, further O C double bond O CH3. So it is mercuric acetate. Its formula is this mercuric acetate. So it involves the reaction of alkene with mercuric acetate in the presence of water and tetrahydrofuran as solvent, followed by reaction of the intermediate beta hydroxy alkyl mercury acetate compound. So I will write this reaction, then you will come to know what does it mean that beta hydroxy alkyl mercuric acetate. The alcohol formed from alkene by this method is in accordance with the Markovnikov rule. So this is also an application of Markovnikov rule. So there are almost all the reaction of alkenes are as per the Markovnikov rule except the addition of HBr to the unsymmetrical alkene in the presence of peroxide that I told you yesterday. So hydrogen is next information about this reaction is hydrogen is introduced at the carbon that has greater number of the hydrogen and hydroxyl group at the carbon with the fewer hydrogen. So this is in direct consonance with the that Markovnikov rule. So oxymercuration, first of all the alkene is treated with this alkene. Basically alkene is the hydrocarbon containing carbon double bond. So alkene generally when this alkene is treated with water and mercuric acetate, that is OCH3, this compound has been written in this form here. It results in the loss of acetic acid CH3COOH and further result in the formation of this compound. This is OH goes to one carbon from water because water is basically H positive plus OH negative. So OH negative part goes to one carbon and this mercury OCOH3 part goes to the other carbon. So HgOCOCH3. So basically this mercuric acetate loses one this acetate group is basically CH3COO negative. It combines with this proton from this water and result in the formation of this acetic acid. Further this compound is formed. This is the beta hydroxy alkyl mercury 2 acetate. Beta hydroxy alkyl mercury 2 acetate. So beta means at beta position, this is alpha position, this is beta position. At beta position hydroxy group is present. Alkyl mercury is in the oxidation form of mercury here is plus 2, so it has been written as Hg2 acetate. Okay, so this is the beta hydroxy alkyl mercury 2 acetate. Further this was the oxymercuration and next part of this reaction is demercuration. Demercuration means like dehydration. When we use some word prefix to the D, that is dehydration, it means there is loss of water, removal of water. This minus sign is indicating here that loss. So D word simply means removal or loss. So here we are talking about demercuration. This was simple. Oxymercuration as I told you yesterday, like hydration or some halogenation, there was a direct addition of that entity to the substrate. So here was the addition of this mercury because for oxymercuration. Further say demercuration, there is the removal of mercury from the this substrate. So this beta hydroxy alkyl mercury 2 acetate undergo demercuration in the presence of sodium borohydride NaBH4 and hydroxyl anion, basic solution of sodium borohydride. So it result in the formation of this OH, H, further Hg plus another molecule of acetate anion. So this is mercury is removed from here. Mercury metal from this 2 oxidation state, here mercury is converted into mercury metal in this reaction, and further this alcohol is formed. So this is the oxymercuration demercuration reaction. So let me write a simple example of this isobutylene. Here this is alkene, and particularly it's a unsymmetrical alkene because it can't be divided into 2 equal parts. So the unsymmetrical alkene, I had written unsymmetrical alkene because it is the I want to tell you that this is the application of Markovnikov reaction also. So from here you will again get an idea about the Markovnikov rule. So here first of all, in first step there was oxymercuration in the presence of tetrahydrofuran and water. So there was oxymercuration, and in second step there was demercuration reaction in the presence of sodium borohydride, NaBH4. So this will be the final product. We can see from here we started from this alkene, and at this double bond at one carbon hydrogen is added and at other carbon hydroxyl group is added, and this product of this reaction is as per the Markovnikov rule. So you can see here that this carbon was with the pure hydrogen atom, so negative part of the addendum will go to this carbon, whereas this carbon with more hydrogens as compared to this carbon, there will positive part of the addendum will be added to this carbon. So hydrogen will be added to this carbon, it will become, this carbon will convert from CH2 to CH3, and further here this OH group will be added. So it is the this is the formation of tertiary butyl alcohol. And you want, if you want to write the IUPAC name of the reaction, you can also write the IUPAC name of the reaction. So there are many other examples of such a kind. But1ene gives the butane to all methyl but1ene. So if there is but1ene, this is the but1ene, and if you will add all these reagents here, oxymercuration and demercuration reaction, so you can predict the product. Here product will be, what will be the product? So you can imagine, before I write the product here, this is the CH and this is CH2. Now the CH2 will, this CH2 will gain a positive part of the addendum, and positive part is the hydrogen atom, and this is a CH3, and further with the carbon having lesser number of hydrogens will get the negative part of the addendum, and that is OH. So what is this? It is the butane. What is the name of the proton product? 1 2 3 4 butane 2 all. So it is very easy to understand what is the, what do you mean by oxymercuration and demercuration reaction. So this is the butane 2 all. Now there are many other examples you can do yourself. You have to just write that unsymmetrical alkene, and after that you have to just add the basically you have to add one proton and hydroxyl ion in oxymercuration demercuration reaction. So you have to just find out the which carbon has more number of hydrogens. So positive part of the addendum will go to this carbon, and negative part will go to the this carbon. So it's not so that tough, it's very easy. Further let's see what does its mechanism says. So in mechanism, at first step, the mercuric acetate this mercuric acetate will undergo dissociation. So this is the mechanism of above reaction. So mercuric acetate will undergo dissociation, and it will result in the formation of acetate anion and this mercury cation, CH3COO negative. Further, this alkene will react with this mercury cation in next step, and pi bond will go to mercury, electron deficient mercury, and it will result in the beta mercury substituted carbocation. Result in the formation of, it will result in the formation of beta mercury substituted carbocation. So this product is formed. Further, this carbocation 1, this is the carbocation, if we will write it as 1. So this carbocation 1 is then attacked by the nucleophile H2O to give mercury substituted oxonium ion. So I will write here in the next page. Water will attack. Let me show you here first of all that water is like this. This is H2O and water is electron rich oxygen. It will attack this carbon, electron deficient carbocation at this position, and further there will be the formation of oxonium ion. So oxonium ion can be written as this is the oxonium carbocation. Here mercury substituted oxonium ion is formed because oxygen basically this carbon was carbocation which are positively charged, and oxygen has two lone pair of electrons, so it donated its one electron pair to that electron deficient carbon, due to which oxygen got the positive charge, and further it forms the oxonium ion. So this is the oxonium ion, and in last step there is a loss of proton occur from the oxonium ion to yield the product of oxymercuration, demercuration. So this oxonium ion loses one of the proton and result in the formation of this this acetic acid CH3COOH, because there was present that acetate anion initially formed from this breakage of this mercury. This was formed as the acetate ion. This acetate anion abstract the proton from the oxonium ion and result in the formation of this compound. And in the second phase, the hydrogen atom from sodium borohydride replaces the mercury substituent to give the alcohol. And in last step, that is demercuration, we treat the solution with the NaBH4, sodium borohydride, and this sodium borohydride replaces the mercury substituent. Hydrogen atom of the sodium borohydride replaces this mercury substituent and result in the formation of this alcohol plus mercury and plus the second product, which was acetate anion from this dissociation. So this is the final product. So this was the oxymercuration and demercuration. And last section of this chapter is the addition of ozone and ozonolysis. So alkenes, ozonolysis and ozonation. So ozonation, it may be called as ozonation because addition of ozone which result in the further ozonolysis. So ozonation and ozonolysis. So in this reaction, alkene react with the O3, that is ozone, in the presence of CCl4. It result in the formation of ozonide. So it's not so that tough. You have to just keep it in mind that reaction will take place at this alkene, and it will result in the formation of monoozonide, because ozone get added to this double bond which result in the formation of this is called monoozonide or ozonide. It is called monoozonide. Further it rearranges itself to form the ozonide. So this is ozonide, monoozonide, and this is ozonide. So this is the reaction of ozonation. Further it undergo ozonolysis. How this this ozonide undergo ozonolysis as this bond get broken, and in the presence of zinc, dust and water, it result in the formation of carbonyl bond. Further one more carbonyl bond plus H2O2, one oxygen. This oxygen gets added to this water which result in the formation of H2O2 hydrogen peroxide, and further this carbonyl bond is formed. So let's see some example. For example, this is the propene. So if we will treat it with the ozone in the presence of CCl4, it will result in the formation of ozonide. How this ozonide is formed as at this carbon-carbon double bond. So oxygen, sorry, this bond was not supposed to be here, and this further CH2, and there was one hydrogen. So this is the formation of what is this? This is the ozonide. And further when it was treated with the zinc dust plus water, there is a formation of resultant product. What will be the resultant product? So try to speculate from here. You can speculate that at this ozonide there will be the breakage. How? In this way, and add this carbon in this way. So you have to just draw the such a carbonyl group at this originally existing double bond. So here is the product. Simply you just write this carbonyl group here and here too. After that write its hydrogen, one hydrogen is attached to it, and further there is the this methyl group was attached to it, and on this side basically it was CH2. So it is the formaldehyde, it is HCHO. This is called formaldehyde or methanol, and this is metheth. So this is the ethanol. So this is the ethanol, this is the methanol. Two products are formed. So I had told you, let me remind you that naming is the last portion of writing a particular organic reaction. First of all, go for the mechanism and try to explain each and every product, how that is formed by the particular satisfactory mechanism. First of all, try to understand the mechanism and then write it. After that, writing the mechanism, writing the final products, you just try to write their names. If you will know the mechanism, you will find it easy to write their names. So don't try to cram everything here, that you will try to cram their names. And furthermore, one product more here is formed, that is this hydrogen peroxide. So you can write name of the any number of the products, or you can write the mechanism any number of products. You have to just focus on the this double bond, because basically this double bond, generally this double bond you started from here in case of ozonation and what ozono. So this is a carbon-carbon double bond alkene. When you treat it with the ozone and further zinc dust and water, there was the formation of this. There is a formation of these two products. So now what will be the there will be formation of these two bonds, carbonyl groups here. Now what will be the product? That depends upon the this substituents. If there is suppose that there are two methyl groups attached to this carbon, then there will be the formation of this this is called propanone, and acetone is its common name. And suppose there is also this two methyl groups, so there 2 moles of this same compound will be formed, that is propanone or acetone, plus what will be the side product, that is hydrogen peroxide. So it's very easy. So what is the function of zinc dust here, that I had written here? Zinc dust, what does it do? Function of zinc dust is to remove hydrogen peroxide formed which otherwise could oxidize aldehyde and ketone formed to give the carboxylic acid. So the final product formed, that is these carbonyl group containing compounds, are very reactive toward the hydrogen peroxide. So we add zinc dust to these reactions. Why? Because zinc dust help in the removing of hydrogen peroxide from these out of these products, so that we can easily isolate these products at this stage. If we will not add zinc dust to this reaction, then what will be the products will further oxidized. Products will be further oxidized to their respective carboxylic acid. So you will study these oxidation reaction in your further classes, and the final products will be your carboxylic acids if zinc dust is not added to the reaction. So always keep it in mind. So try to do more and more examples of the these reactions. So it completes your first paper, that is 101 TH. So now we have completed 101 paper, 101 TH paper, that is TH means theory. So syllabus is given in all the books, and in this book also there is a syllabus. So there is the you have to just first of all try to read these instruction given in the syllabus note for examiner and student. So the question paper will consist of 5 sections, that is A, B, C, D, E. The section E will be compulsory, and examiner will set 9 questions in all, selecting 2 questions from each section, that is A, B, C, D, E of 10 marks each, and may contain more than one part. Section E will be of 10 marks and consist of objective type of question. So it means that section A will have 2 questions, 1, 2. Section B will have 2 questions, 3, question number 4. Similarly, C will have 2 questions, 5 and 6. Section D will have 2 questions, and section E in the last will have a single question, that is question number 9. So you have to do one question out of these 2 questions, either question number 1 or question number 2. Similarly, from each section you have to do just one question, and each section will be compulsory, and question number 9, and it will have section E will have 10 marks and consist of objective type of question, that is MCQ or true false type of question. So paper of from E section you have to do all the question, and whereas from section A, B, C, D you have to just perform the one question out of the 2 given question. So this is your syllabus for the paper 101 TH. This syllabus is given in all the books, and this is the content chapter. Content is different from the syllabus, so this is the university syllabus. So you have to follow this syllabus.